Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and in this video I'll be going through my SuperCoach round 17 review, as well as doing the trades for round 18 as we are forced into trades. Well, I should say a trade because of injury. I probably will sort of combine it in my trade targets video. That will be recorded, I believe, on the Wednesday night. I'll combine sort of what I'm looking at in my sort of trades, because I am going to be looking for a premium mid and there'll be plenty of options available for me. But anyway, let's jump into this video. So I ended up scoring a 2267. And as you can see, for those watching along on YouTube there, you can see the new graphics there as well in the good old SuperCoach colors as well. So a 2267 for me, around a rank of 37,673 and an overall rank of 19,505. Obviously not my year, but we are moving on, I guess, into the AFLW fantasy space. Alongside, obviously, we'll be providing some very not exclusive, well, I would say exclusive, but a very detailed BBL SuperCoach previews and everything as we lead into that year as well. So anyway, let's move on to this team. And nope, I haven't actually done the trade yet, but Wanganeen Malira 115, huge. He went off, and yeah, that was amazing. And one thing I will say, I did get the 23rd player on the park, and it gave me all of 0 points, actually putting Bailey Smith on the bench, because the 23rd player was Carroll, and Carroll ended up with a 57. So one thing I will say, and I think this has been sort of testament to my whole year, is just having injured primos on the bench. I probably cost myself, or probably in the region of 400 points, 500 points, just from guys just sitting on the bench when they've been injured for periods of time. Like, obviously a lot of us got stuck with Bailey Smith. I got stuck with Whitfield. I also purposely stuck with Jason Horne-Francis and McRae, who both are now in my side and maybe not performing to the greatest of their abilities, but it is what it is. But yeah, Wanganeen Malira 155, I was glad that he absolutely dominated. What was it, 43 touches in the end or something dumb like that? So yeah, he did really well. Zorko 100, a clean 100 on the dot. Yeah, he's been sort of disappointing, I would say. It feels like his role is starting to peter out this year compared to last year, where he was on fire. So yeah, that's kind of disappointing that we're stuck with him, but hopefully he can find something. Then you've got Jack Sinclair 72. Wasn't the greatest from him, I would say. As well as, I can probably just make this bigger for you guys so you can see it better. But yeah, Sinclair 72, not the greatest, I would say. And yeah, kind of disappointing. Sheasel 94, he ended up on. He's just been ultra disappointing. I think a lot of people got him out when he was like 580k or something like that. Let me just double check that for you guys. But yeah, he was 576k back when a lot of people jumped out of him, and he's sort of just gone up and down again. And you can kind of see it as he ended now in the 490s, and he's averaging 100 for the year. So could be interesting next year if he isn't put in the darn forward pocket. He might actually be an option as a mid-only player, you'd suspect. McCarthy, 82, doesn't get the biggest cash rise of all time, only 113.6k, I say only, and he's projected to jump again another 50, 60k very easily. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, you could easily see him with a decent score here jump another 70k and be 290k, but we are not going to be trading him just because of the Caldwell injury, which we'll get to. And then Carroll just came on as sort of an insurance policy, I would say, because I didn't expect Liddy and some other guys to be dropped, and I thought that we were getting Whitfield back until, what was it, Tuesday or something when that happened. And I was never going to trade on a 1 week injury because Caldwell's 6 to 8. Because that will happen. And yeah, and I didn't want to also trade Bailey Smith because I thought that it would be only 1 week, and it looks to be only 1 week. So moving on to the, well, if we just look at this now, and what we look at now with this, you'll see Whitfield comes back in, and that strengthens this line straight back up, and it looks pretty good there. And then this, we can do this as well, and honestly just put Bailey Smith here, and then he just goes to there, and then we can put I can do this here and get rid, just put a Petrarca in the midfield, to be honest, and that'll be that. So yeah, my side does look a little bit better now looking at that, and basically got Doherty and also Mills as sort of guys that aren't going to score, are sort of priced a little bit lower than Primos in my side, and that's comparative to others. I wish I could have actually been able to use like a Carroll or someone like that, or maybe had avoided an injury and upgraded Carroll and Johnson in 2-3 weeks time, because Johnson's got a 37 break even, Carroll's got a 35 break even. If you think about that, that could be in 2 or 3 weeks time. Between those two, it could realistically have been another sort of 40k, 50k each, and something like that would have amounted to them being able to be upgraded to sort of a 520, 530k maybe DPP position player, and had McCarthy be my 24th player rather than my 23rd. But it is what it is. We had the Simpson injuries, the Gross being played at half forward, etc. Everything just didn't fall our way, I would say, alongside some bad thought processes, etc., which we will rectify next year. But anyway, going on to the midfield, Dacos 127. He was huge. So was Butters 113. And also Bontempelli 133. Dawson 98 was pretty good. And then also Sarong 63. Caldwell was tracking well so nicely and then got himself injured. So the good thing about Caldwell is that he's probably going to be a guy that we could almost pick up next year as well. Like if you actually look at his run, what he was scoring when he was actually playing and not injured, he went and scored 432. So that would be 580 across 5 weeks. I think, yeah, 580 across 5 weeks, and even include the injured game where he only played 93 minutes, which was about, 6-7 minutes short, I think. So he probably, that's 676 through 6 games, which 676 divided by 6 is 112.6 through 6 games. You could honestly probably put that, that 96 up to about a 102, 103, which would put him at 692 divided by 6, which would put him at a 115 average or so. So yeah, I could see him being a real guy next year to even look at again. But obviously needs to be traded out, which we'll get to in a second. Petrarca 79, disappointing, and Doherty 81, really disappointing out of those two. And there's not much I can really go to. Like, I've even considered going down to 0 trades and then just winging it here. And if we just look at it for a second for you guys, that's probably the best one for you guys. You'll see that I could potentially go and grab, if we just look, guys that are under 500k or so, 509k, let's look at that. I could grab up a Rankin, but do I really want to grab up a Rankin? I don't think so. And I pretty much have all the other guys. Could go a Taranto, who has done some good things, but also some really poor things. And then there's not really many others that I would look at here. If we look, Hall's doing bits, but yeah, he's not going to be a guy that I don't really want. Could potentially go a Colby McKercher, who could outscore Doherty, but is that really gonna happen? Probably not. Maybe could even go, can I do something can I do this and then this and then move this guy into there? Because will Horne-Francis outscore McKercher for the rest of the year? When if we actually look at Horne-Francis, you can reset. If we look at Horne-Francis for the year, how many tons has he actually scored? He has scored in the year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tons through the year, and 1, 2, 2 90 scores and 3 more 80 scores. So that is 2 tons, 3 90s and 3 80s or something, was it? Was it 3 90s? 1, 2, 2 90s and 3 80s. That is 7 games out of, if we look at it, 7 out of his possible 14 games, he scored above 80. That's not the best record. I know he's been like injured basically 2 or 3 times. As you see here, injury here, almost, well, like, yeah, injury here, etc. So yeah, I could actually do that. Let's actually look at the McKercher stats for you guys and just look at his over or under 80 for the year. One move to halfback pretty much here, and you can see he's gone 100, 196, 108, 123. I could actually move that, and I might as well do it. Might as well have some fun. I don't think he's going to do it, whereas McKercher could actually. And then I'd have 515k, and if I go to players I can afford here at 515k, and let's just do this, and then go by average, you'll see that I can actually get to Dunkley, who might actually be a decent pick against the likes of Carlton. And then there isn't really anyone else that I can actually get to, which, yeah, could actually be just a decent pick. I know that Dunkley, if we look at it here, Dunkley has dropped a couple of stinkers recently, which probably makes him ultra cheap, but he was at 1.618k and has done it in the past where he just goes off and goes crazy. And I could see him going pretty well in the next run. Carlton, earlier this year, did they play them? They haven't. Western Bulldogs played them earlier this year for an 88. Gold Coast, has he played them earlier this year? Played them for a 109. Collingwood played them, have they? Yep, played them for an 83. So we are playing some of his tough games. Played Sydney for a 170. And then for Fremantle, if we just look here, have they played Fremantle? Of course they haven't, but they're playing them in round 23. And then Hawthorn as well, played them for a 95. I think that would be probably my best option because I don't think I'm going to be able to actually get Colby McKercher in next week, and Horne-Francis probably is a guy that isn't going to score too well, whereas now it does honestly give me a little bit of, I've got a lot of distributors off halfback, which could actually be a good thing, and yeah, so I'm not too disappointed in that. I would say I could also get rid of Sinclair, which would be a bold move, and then that would enable me to getting rid of Sinclair would enable me to get to someone else. But I just have a feeling that a Sinclair big game is around the corner, to be honest with you. Like, I know he's dropped 3 back-to-back stinkers going from 600k to 497, dropping almost 30k a week each. But yeah, I just don't see it, to be honest with you, that he doesn't turn this form around. He's got, yeah, I just see him. Who are Sydney going to... They could tag him, but I have a feeling they're going to tag Wanganeen Malira, which could actually help open up Sinclair a little bit this week. So, Sarong got tagged out of the game. Back to the review. Sarong got tagged out of the game absolutely perfectly by James Jordan. 2 goals for James Jordan, 1 goal for Sarong. Sarong had 16 touches, maybe, something like that. He got a little bit away in the second half, per se. If you really wanted to say it, let's just go here. He had 11 touches after having 19 against Sydney in the opening, in the second game of the year for them, which means that he combined for 30 touches against Sydney in 2 games. That's a pretty good effort from James Jordan and was rightfully awarded 8 coaches' votes. So, Dunkley, we're going to trade in. McKercher trading in. Doherty, 81. Not the greatest display from him. There are talks that he could potentially get dropped or whatever, but I might just have to cop it for the rest of the year and just go in blind with still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds. It's probably going to fail. Admittedly, it probably will fail. But, yeah. So there is that. I could just also undo trades, etc. as I actually can't. No, I'd be spending 27 more K, so I can actually undo those trades and then just go Caldwell to Dunkley, which is definitely an option in its own right. If we go to players that I can afford, I can basically afford anyone. And I think Dunkley was the guy I had picked anyway, because I think I didn't have Martin in there, did I? Martin wasn't on the watch list, was he? If I just go here, get rid of Caldwell, Martin is still a little bit pricey, I would say. Oh, he can't actually be picked. If we go here, Martin can be picked at 532k. So that could actually be an option to go to, because I think that Nick Martin could actually do really well. But he's a guy that I think in a couple of weeks' time, if we have another premium go down, he could be a guy that we grab up anyway. So let's just go to Dunkley at the moment, and then we will work our way back from there. So there we go. We will just do that. Yeah, so there is potential for me to hold Doherty for a couple more weeks. He might make a little bit more cash, might make it easier to jump to a Martin, who with 30k left, Martin with a 155 break even, is probably going to go up in price. Probably going to hit close enough to his break even, you would expect. But if he hits like 100, 105, he goes down 26k. And if Doherty can hit like a 110 or something like that, or someone else gets around about that 500k marker, and potentially another injury, because who knows my luck, then Nick Martin comes right on the radar there. Johnson doing well off the bench there. Won't be needed this week, hopefully. Gawn had a stinker against... who was it against? Was it against Wits or something? No, against rightfully against Riley O'Brien, who's the toughest ruck. Sherry had a pretty good game. McRae 116, Kennedy 104, pretty good games from them. Darcy, we saved a 73 out of that mess. Daniel 79, Horne-Francis 78, Petrarca 79, and then Callum Mills with a saving 107 with a lot of intercepts at halfback. And that pretty much is the round there. It obviously got the likes of Bailey Smith just coming straight in there. That should help free that up a little bit and make it a little bit easier there, and make my squad look a lot stronger, I would say. And obviously Whitfield comes on field there. So weakest links are Horne-Francis, Daniel, Doherty, and also, well, McCarthy to a certain extent, or Mills. But anyway, that is the video there. If you guys did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be the AFL Fantasy Trade Targets. Bye, guys.